We'll just start with the quick introductions, of course. My name is Ali. I am the head of sales in the US, and I have my colleague, Alan, product marketing manager at GetAccept, joining me here today. The topic of increasing business efficiency is really more important than ever right now. With the current economic environment, a lot of teams, unfortunately, are working with less resources than ever, and they are still trying to keep up with the business demands and the metrics that they need to deliver on an ongoing basis. And I think that the topic of automations, and specifically today we're going to talk about GetAccept Automations, is really, again, it's very relevant. Our goal here is to show you how you can find new ways to, even with the lower input, you get the same output, if not more. And we'll discuss a lot of actual use cases. We'll go over some of the customer cases that we have, and we have a great live demo waiting for you by Alan right here. So we can start with a quick agenda here. Actually, sorry, before the agenda, let's go with the poll time. I completely forgot.
About the poll. You forgot about the poll.
I know. I'm no fun. So the question is, if you could automate one thing in your life, what would it be? And this could be anything not related to work.
Get creative, yeah.
And feel free to type that in the chat.
Examples are more than welcome. I would say, I mean, it's not as relevant to me now, being in Florida, we don't have a lawn, but I definitely, as a child, used to just dread mowing the grass. So for me, I think like automating the cutting of our lawn and our grass would be top of the list. But I've seen they have like a Roomba thing now that can just do it, and it so Christmas.
There you go. I know. Yes, we know what to get you for Christmas. I see Utah said putting clean clothes out from the washing machine and folding. That's really close. I was just thinking laundry, so maybe I'll build on that, but I'll do the entire thing. I don't want to put anything in or out or fold. It would be great to just automate the entire process.
The tax report, that's a good one.
Too real.
Up soon.
Too real.
Too real. Yeah.
Cleaning your house or commute to work. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Cleaning is a good cleaning, housekeeping, commuting, doing your taxes. I would be down to automate all of that, honestly. I mean, that will save you so much time. Thank you all. These are some great answers. And if anyone thinks of anything else, please feel free to post it. We'll be happy to read them afterwards as well. But we can jump into the agenda now for real. So we'll start with why automate your workflows today. What are the benefits of automations? Really very quickly touching on some of the main points there. And then jumping right into the GetAccept Automations, I would like to share some stats with you today, talk about what work we've been doing with our customers with automations. And then from there, we'll give it up to Alan, who will work us through some sample automations by department, different departments, how they use the automations with GetAccept, and then jump into a live demo and Q&A. I also wanted to mention that our dear Frederick, whose face you see right here, he's here to help as well. He's actually here on the webinar with us. He'll be in the chat answering questions. So if you have any questions, please post them in the chat. If anything requires further explanation or details, we'll discuss it at the end in the Q&A as well. And this is pretty much it. We can just jump right in.
Cool.
So why automate? Why today? At GetAccept, we've been working with automations for quite a while, actually. We've been automating workflows since 2015 with our customers. So it's almost, what, 7 years, over 7 years now. We have really improved our automation system quite a lot. And as of the past year, we've focused a lot on building new automations, making them more accessible to our customers, and building really the triggers and actions that make a lot of sense to what our customers needed. Yep. So the two main benefits to automation is just, I mean, it is kind of common sense, but I just wanted to highlight them here. First is improving work efficiency, and that includes cost, time. You're putting less, again, like I said, less input, same or higher output, and then reducing human error. The second is extremely important, especially when you're working with high volumes. We have a lot of customers that work with a lot of documents, a lot of important documents, and there are a lot of small details that can easily be missed if you're working with high volumes and you have less people working on those teams.
And I think I'll chime in too. I think like it also opens up the opportunity of we kind of like think about the status quo and being able to automate the status quo, but it opens up so many more opportunities to improve on our current process too, business wide. So I just wanted to add that too as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, again, these are really just the, if we're looking at the big picture, these are the main benefits that we'll look at. Yep. But again, based on your use cases, there are so many different benefits that you can find through the automations. And I think you'll think of your own once you walk through the examples that we have today and the demo. You're probably
Yeah.
just going to give you some ideas on how that will help you. But then just to give you an idea, again, this is these are some stats from a report that's done by Salesforce, and they interviewed 25,000 technical leaders that actually were asked to answer the question, what did they do with the automations, how the automations impacted their work, cost savings, time savings. As you can see, their time savings is equivalent to at least 4 hours per 40-hour week. I think 4 hours a week is huge. I mean, especially right now, honestly, I think I'll take 1 hour. That's I think that's I
You get
think
an hour.
that's
You
such
get an
a
hour.
yeah, that's actually it's quite frankly, it's really, it is very true. I mean, working with our customers, we can tell the difference before and after they start implementing our automations. But in general, when you automate any kind of essential or mundane tasks that you have at work, you really do free up a lot of your time. And as you can see here with the cost savings, the time savings, I don't know if it's too small to see, but the dark purple is the 11 to 30% of the answers. And then as you can see, the 31 to 50%, 31 to 50% is the light purple, just so people know what they're looking at when you're looking at the time savings and cost savings reported through this report. And not to bore you with a lot of statistics here, but going into our automations, GetAccept Automations, like I said, we've been working with automations for quite a long time. And for the last 12 months, since we started revamping our automations at GetAccept, we've added over 90 customers to our automation system, and we've automated over 1.3 million tasks. Again, it's a huge volume. Looking at this, honestly, 12 months ago, I would have never expected to have this volume in here today. But I do think that with everything that's happening in the market, post-pandemic, excuse me, almost post-pandemic, with the current economic environment, I think all of this kind of bubbled together and then created this need to do more with less, basically.
I'm looking past 12 months. I would say we have hundreds probably of customers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Easy.
Yes. Yeah. We're trying to we're trying to focus on
scope it
1 year. Yeah. Just to make sure that we're giving you a good kind of number for 12 months. But yes, absolutely. I mean, working on this since 2015, I'm pretty sure a lot of our customers opt out to do their automations on their own as well, which is also something that we did not put into the calculation. So this is really only the automations that we've added in the past 12 months that we completely manage from start to finish. So we manage, we overview, we kind of control. And this is just a quick, this is actually an actual screenshot of one of our customers' automations case. And this, we're basically looking at the period I can see from, actually it's April when they started to February to this month. And as you can see, it's really, we're working with a team of 2 people here. And I just put it, this is a random number, but team of 2, output of 200. For example, if you're looking at the month of July, right here. So if you look at the July column, it shows you how many jobs we've automated on the left-hand side. And you can see we've automated almost 140,000 tasks that month. I mean, I honestly cannot even imagine a team of 10 doing that, to be honest. So just looking into this, the time that we've invested and the money that was invested, to be honest, cost-wise, was so insignificant compared to the amount of work that we were able to accomplish here. And as you can see, it's quite consistent after that, even though we had a dip in August, which is still over 40,000 tasks or jobs were done. You can see that we picked that up in September, October, November as well. So there's quite a lot of work that you can do with the automations. The great thing about setting up these automations is that the work was only done at the very beginning. So we set everything up for you, we monitor the jobs, and then you just turn it on and it works on its own. There's really very little input that you'll have to do in that case.
And you were looking at July with 120 plus, for 10 people. I couldn't imagine. I'm looking at 10,000 and 10 people. That's still 1,000. I mean, that's insane. So
it is quite a lot. It is quite a lot. I mean, to be fair, it's 2 people that I'm working with, and only 1 person that was really involved in the process of building these automations with me. So I would say probably team of one. Output of 200. Yes, but just to be fair, but yeah, just to give you some kind of perspective into how impactful these automations can be for your teams. And I just wanted to add this before I kind of move into samples, just to explain a few things. So with the automations in GetAccept, we always talk about triggers and actions with our customers. And if you look at the left-hand side of this slide, the only 2 bullets there, it says triggers. The most common trigger that's used is the document has been signed. So you can say whenever a document has been signed, and you can add conditions to it. So if a document has been signed and it says proposal, then do this. This is the most common trigger, really. And then as you can see, we have other document events. We cover all of the events in GetAccept, and this is a growing really side of the equation. So we have document viewed, document commented, document rejected, document forwarded. You can think of anything really in GetAccept, and we can use that as a trigger. And as for the actions on the right-hand side, we have a longer list, of course, and this is a growing list. I can tell you that when we first started working with this new automation system, 12 months ago, we had maybe 6 or 7 actions available. But as you can see now, we almost doubled that, and we continue to work on this. So based on your needs, if there's anything that you don't see right here that you think would be useful for you and your teams, please reach out. We are more than happy to add more to enrich our actions library. But as you can see, some of the, again, the most commonly used action is creating a document from a template. So if there's anything that happened before then trigger the send out of a document using an existing template in GetAccept. Or if you want to create a contact in GetAccept, or if you want to actually create a custom action using our API. So there, again, there's a lot to do. Alan, do you want to add something here?
I think we see like get document fields or values quite a bit. So taking whatever customer maybe puts into a form or a proposal, and maybe billing information, for example, which we might see in our demo later, and being able to pull that and then place that anywhere to like your CRM or any other kind of software that you use. I think we see for triggers too. I think we see like document sent quite a bit, like maybe to trigger certain things. But sent and signed, I think, would be the two triggers that we have set up the most.
Yeah, I've recently we have one of our customers that use our automations quite a lot, and I'm pretty sure that was actually where the screenshot was taken from with the usage. They use the seal document, which is on the very right, it's almost top right corner of your screen. Seal a document and GetAccept. I for a very long time I did not even know what that meant, to be honest with you.
Seal.
I'm like, okay, well, seal the document and then what? So in a lot of cases, if you have really large volumes of documents and you do not want to take action immediately on all of them, let's say you have 10,000 documents or 100,000 documents being created, you have the option of sealing the documents, so getting all of the documents ready to go. So all the documents with the custom fields and the information of the customers are all kind of set up, and you seal them. You almost queue them all to be scheduled to be sent out or uploaded in any direction all together at the same time, instead of actually initiating kind of, let's say we do the bulk sends, which is really very, very common with the automations. You want to say, I want to send this document in mass to 10,000 recipients. You can click send document as the action, and that will start sending documents one by one. It takes a few seconds to send each document, so it will process quite fast. But if you want to send them all together, you have the option of sealing documents. So the few seconds that you take for each document will be taken to seal the document and have it ready to go. And then once you have all the documents ready, you can send them all together at the same time, which I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it was definitely more useful than I thought what it was. In my head, sealing a document is definitely just a passing step. I did not really think about it that much. But with this case, it made sense. Yeah, go ahead.
And it looks like some of these too, because like some of these, like you said, we're growing this list, and there's actually some new ones on here that maybe I haven't seen before, and but it looks like list contacts, maybe get user details, entity information. It looks like those are maybe some things that you could almost like create like a report out of.
Yeah.
Like if you want like a big report at the end of the month or something like that to be delivered. So that's kind of cool. That's all right. Like I said, those are some that maybe I haven't even seen before.
Yeah. Well, I want to point out that we are, again, for those of you, I don't really know where everyone is joining from, but we are a global team, and we have our customers are all over the world. So some of these custom actions or triggers that were added based on requests from customers. So for us, of course, in the US, it's a little bit different from our customers in the EU. So whatever requests we get, again, some of the cases that you see here are probably, we have some colleagues that work with these actions all the time versus what we work with here in the US. Again, it's a growing library of different cases and different automations that we continue to add to. But just to add one last thing before I move on to give the stage to Alan to walk us through the samples and the demo. We do have automations that are almost ready to be used out of the box. And one good example is the bulk send. So the mass send, if you want to send anything in bulk, that automation is really available for us to apply to your case at any point. So some automations, as long as they're not custom or super kind of detailed and different, we don't really need to reinvent the wheel. We have a lot of automations that are ready to go out of the box. If you guys are interested in learning more about the things that are available today, again, feel free to reach out. I know that Alan will have some more information on how you can reach out and what kind of information to expect after the webinar. So I'll stop here, and I'm gonna give it up to Alan.
All right, thank you. So yeah, today webinar is, like I said, focused a bit more on automations throughout your business, right? So we'll go kind of a little bit by department here, and we'll start off with maybe one of the most common ones we see, automations in sales. And I set these up so all the examples have a trigger and 2 actions, but of course, an automation can get as complex or as simple as we want to make it, right? So we'll start off real simple here. The trigger in this first example for our sales team would be anytime a document in GetAccept is signed, right? A contract. Well, we want to take that information and we want to pass it to HubSpot. We want to not only move the deal into its new stage, maybe if it's a contract, closed one, hopefully. But we also maybe want to take that and update some deal information. I think we maybe mentioned it before, maybe some billing information that was filled in on the contract, or some other customer information. And then for our second action, we want to notify the sales channel of a new won deal, maybe add the deal value in there, say who the closing account manager was. Back when I started in 2015, I think this might have been one of our first automations, actually. And I think that sales channel is still running strong with that automation. So it's always exciting to kind of see the new ARR being posted in there, and give a little kudos and congrats to whoever closed the new deal. So so that's a great little simple automation that keeps CRM hygiene, which we all know is really important, up to date, and also gives the team an opportunity to keep that morale, boosted throughout the months. So, so the next one we'll look at is account management automation, or maybe onboarding automation, or customer success automation. Once the deal is closed, who's it being handed off to, right? And in this example, we will actually look at what a handoff could look like with automation, right? So we have the trigger being in HubSpot, our CRM, that a deal has become closed won, right? So the first action after that is that we want to take a GetAccept document, one of our templates that we have created, and we'll actually see this in our demo as well. We have a nice little onboarding handoff, kind of like a next step. So when someone is a new customer of ours, we want to introduce them to their new customer success manager, give them a little idea of what the next steps are as far as onboarding, and of course, kind of try to personalize that, right? And I say that, personalize it, because it's hard to personalize something that's going to be automatically sent out, right? In GetAccept, we have the ability to add video, right? And, say, hey, Ollie, can't wait to jump on a call with you and get you on board with the team, right? Well, hard to do if you just send it out automatically. You don't have time to do that. So in this first action, we actually have that we're going to draft a GetAccept document. So it's going to be nice and ready, primed to be sent out, but it won't be sent yet. It'll give the account manager an opportunity to go into the document, add a quick little intro video, and then he can send it out with one click. So making it as convenient as possible. And to second that, with the second action, we're going to notify that AM that they have a new customer. We can post the URL to that drafted document. So the account manager just gets a Slack notification. Oh, okay, great, new customer. They can click the link. It'll take them right to the document that's been drafted. They can add their little intro video and they can send it out. So not automating it fully to the cent, but so much so that it takes a click to be able to add that personalization and have that automation kind of in one. So it's an interesting case because it's a little bit of both, right?
I really like that, Alan. I think my favorite, honestly, the account management automation is quite important. I think the speed to hit your customers once they sign with the next steps, with the onboarding information, with how to schedule a call with your customer success manager or account manager is quite important. I have to say, a lot of our customers, in a lot of cases, actually, they do opt out to doing the instant send out. So whenever there is, the action, the deal is won, or whatever CRM you're using, or the proposal has been signed. If you combine almost like the trigger from the first sample, so signed sales contract into sending a handoff document from GetAccept, this was made possible because of the edit after send now that we have in GetAccept. So what they want this to go to the customer almost immediately. So if I sign and I refresh my email inbox, I already have my onboarding guide sent to me. And then at that point, we still notify the AM with the URL. So the AM would go and add the video after the fact, and then they would notify the customer. So there are multiple different ways. I would go with the drafting option just because I think it will give you more access to customize the kind of the onboarding or the document that you're sharing with the customer after they sign. But if you care about the speed to kind of hit your customer as soon as they sign, then of course you have the option of doing this, and then you can always add the video afterwards as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. With the edit after side, now you can kind of do it. There's a few ways to tackle a lot of these, and that's why every customer that we have that looks at these automations, it's kind of interesting to understand what the workflow is. How do your employees work, within that process, and what would make the most sense? Sometimes
Absolutely.
it's best to get an MVP down and then always build on that. But yeah, it's always a fun kind of puzzle to tackle. But
yeah.
So after the account manager sends out that intro, I think there's one important piece that we need to also address, and that is collecting the finance, collecting the money. Probably all of our favorite parts, So this is a simple automation for our finance department. We use ChargeBee as our billing and subscription platform. So that's what you'll see there in the action. But the trigger here, once again, a signed sales contract. Well, seeing as we work with subscriptions, and as many SaaS companies do the same, we want to automatically create a new subscription, taking the details from that contract, right? Maybe that billing information address, the billing point of contact, emails, things of that nature that would be able to go ahead and fill the subscription and add the right subscription amounts, the deal, the value, things of that nature. At that point, with the subscription created, we want to notify the finance department, right? That we have a new customer, make sure that the payment is being followed up on. So we'll notify, we have a finance channel as well, and we'll notify them in Slack with the URL right to the subscription so they can see who the customer is. Is it a $120,000 deal, or is it, a $2,000 deal that, okay, we prioritize a bit, where they need to allocate their time. So this is a great one. I think we'll also see this one in the demo as well. Yeah, and you'll see in the demo, we've kind of almost combined these three first samples that we've seen into one mega automation, if you will. The last one we have here is for our human resources and people and culture automations. We use a system called Team Tailor, which you'll see there. Now, this is, I really think, a cool example, and I can attest to when I first joined GetAccept back in 2015. We used GetAccept to, sign my employment agreement and everything. And what I loved about it was how personal it was. It really felt like, even though it was something I'm signing on a tablet or my computer or anything, it still felt like I was joining a team that was really welcoming, because they added videos, they added all the things that make GetAccept and great. But in this example, so we have a signed employment agreement. So someone new signs and is joining the team. So we want to go ahead and close the open position in Team Tailor. Right now that we've filled it, we want to automatically close it. And this is maybe my favorite part. We want to notify the company that we have a new hire and to welcome them, right? So we have like a general Slack channel in our Slack environment. And what you can do there then is take the information from Team Tailor, let's say maybe the person's LinkedIn bio or their name and what position they're going to be, filling, and maybe their location, things like that. And that way, everyone that sees that in Slack can go ahead and maybe go to their LinkedIn, or maybe, send them an email or anything, just kind of giving them a nice warm welcome. We actually recently just did this, right, Ali, with our newest hire. And I think she was just overwhelmed with that. She said she never had joined like a team or a company before where everyone was just so welcoming. So everyone was so just, reaching out on LinkedIn and just, saying they can't wait to meet them and everything. So I think that's kind of what makes this example kind of special, especially to the employees, and really building that really great onboarding and hiring interview. You can use it all three process. So,
Yeah, what actually this is really interesting. A couple of months ago, we did have a customer that was interested in also kind of like a people and culture automation. It was more geared towards onboarding new employees. So really built on what you just mentioned, Alan. And it basically they included when a signed employment agreement is done, when they receive that signature, based on the position, which is typically included in the title. So it's an AM role that they just filled out. So AM role with the name of the AM. Every time a document of that type is signed, they actually have a packet, an onboarding packet that would be sent automatically to the employee. And that they have different versions. So it would be one for the sales, including customer success or AMs. One would be for finance, for example. If you have a new controller joining the team, they will receive a different onboarding kind of booklet. And that onboarding document, since it's created with the what we call the digital room and GetAccept or digital sales room, if you look at it that way, it will include videos from, let's say, a video from the CEO welcoming the new employee, a video from the HR manager trying to kind of explain the rules and what the guidelines, some points of how to access your inbox, how to access certain channels. And since, as I said before, you can now edit after you send, this will be the first thing that the employee will get. So when they sign, they don't need to wait. They're eager to start. They're eager to understand what's next. We pull the first date, the start date into that room as well. So they know exactly what to expect, what time to start working as well on their first day. And then the hiring manager or the onboarding person, in this case, it depends on the team, they would log in to GetAccept. They will be notified. They would log in and they would adjust that document. They would add more information. So they would share the new email logins, how to access the Slack channels, how to access different platforms or your CRM and all that information all in one place, which I think is quite special. When I first joined GetAccept, we did not really have the concept of the digital sales room or the digital room. And we didn't really have the option of editing this content as you go. But now I think it's quite flexible. It helps the employees know that there's one location, one place to go back and look at all that info. And the fact that it's automated, once I sign my offer letter, means I don't have to wait until I hear back from you. And if it's a weekend, let's say, and you just sign on Friday, I know how eager people are when they sign a new offer letter, for example. And having that kind of sent to them, I think it's a great first kind of a experience that they get with you, right, as a team. But yeah, I think people and culture automations are quite great, and there's a lot of potential there that we still have to explore.
Just looking back at these kind of 4 samples, is there any like kind of use cases or like customer cases that kind of like pop out to you that you could maybe give a quick example of that we set up maybe recently? Or
I mean, honestly, you did a great job covering a lot of different cases within these automations, because a lot of times we do one trigger, one action. I like that you did trigger into actions in some of these cases. I would say I will use a current case that I'm working on currently. I'm actually building for a customer. It's a cleaning services supplier. They're quite huge and they can't really keep up with the demand or the requests that they get through their websites. So what we're doing with the automation, we're taking the input from the answers from the customers that are coming in. So let's say you log in, you go to their website, you go to the web form, and then you say, I need cleaning of my house. This is the size of my house, number of bathrooms, bedrooms. I have carpet, I have a sofa that needs cleaning, all that information. We put a logic around all these answers to choose the exact contract that would be sent to you based on your selection. So if your house is under 1,200 square feet, if you have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, not more, and if you need carpet cleaning and window cleaning, we add all that information in with the pricing, because we have pricing tables now in GetAccept, build that and send it automatically immediately to the customer. I mean, I cannot really tell you how many times I would reach out. I would need someone to come clean my house, and I would put in some information, and I don't hear back for 2-3 days. And then the second I receive a quote from someone, I hire them, just because I know that I can't really wait anymore. So I think that the speed to hit the customer in this case, once they submit their information, is quite important. And this is what we're trying to accomplish. So we currently are in the process of building the different logics. We just finished 3, and we have, of course, we have quite a lot. We have over 10 different paths that the customer will take based on their answers. And I think this is going to be probably one of my favorite automations, just because of the amount of detail that we're putting into it. And this goes back to the human error, right? If you're looking at you're answering 20 different questions, and then you're counting on your sales rep to make sure that he's not missing or she's not missing anything there, and providing the right quote. There's a big chance that you'll get a mistake here and a mistake there every other contract probably. But now with this automation, the main admins, I'm actually working with the head of sales. they would tell me that, no, this is exactly what should happen. This is exactly the pricing that we'll give if these are the answers that are given. Once we set this up and lock it into automation, there's no way this is not going to be the case unless you come and tell us we've made a change, for example, in this condition. So I do think that this is definitely one of my favorite cases. But as I said before, the most common, I also have to mention it again, is the mass send out. We probably hear this all the time, and you know this, Alan. Just how can I reach 10,000 customers, 20,000 customers within a day, not having to do any manual work other than just putting their information in a sheet, for example. That's also a really common case. So, but yeah.
I hope you're not waiting too long to get your house cleaned.
Not anymore. No, I'm just
remind me before I come and visit next time. But no, I think you're right. Like the quicker you can get a quote out to your customers, like from a company point of view, that first impression of getting it out there quickly, it's a representation of how you run business and how you're going to be as a provider, right? So I think that's a great case, and I think it applies to a lot of different industries. So
absolutely.
All right, demo time. So like I mentioned, I kind of took, you can see here, we have a multi-action step, 5 steps here.
Master
and I've kind of,
class.
yes, this is a master class of automations here.
Love
now, we have our trigger, shouldn't be a surprise, but signed sales contract. And you'll see that I kind of combined the first couple samples that we had into one big automation here. So we have a signed sales contract here. We have updating the customer billing information in HubSpot. We also want to move the deal to closed won. We want to notify finance of the new payment that needs to be collected. We're going to draft that handoff that we talked about earlier too for the customer success or account manager. And then we're going to, of course, notify them so they can easily go ahead and welcome the new customer. So I wanted to lay this out before we just play the video and we're all wondering what's all going on in it. So I guess without further ado, you can start the motion picture.
All right, let's do it. This always makes me nervous when I'm trying to play video on slides. So guys, please bear with me if there you go.
Cool. So here we are. We are in GetAccept. We have just sent out a sales contract. So now we're waiting for the customer to go ahead, find it, obviously, open it. We can see here what I put together. I always use my Seinfeld example, but we can see the quote put together. We see some billing information there, and we see the contract at the bottom. So now we're going to go to the customer's point of view. Oh, look, Alan just sent me a proposal. I'm going to go ahead, open it, sign it. And of course, a lot of this will look very familiar, obviously, because this is just the normal signing and sending and signing process within GetAccept. But here we are, there's all the information, and here's what we're going to collect for them, right? Shipping, sure, XPaid. Of course, 123 Apple Way, San Francisco. And now this is the information that we are going to be able to extract from this document, because we see we're putting it in these input fields, right? And place it wherever we want throughout the automation. So in this example, we'll go ahead and put it into HubSpot, but it could be anywhere else too throughout the automation. So bang, right there, that's our trigger, right? The customer just signed. There we go. We see that obviously in GetAccept. And now that is going to, as a salesperson, here I am in GetAccept, and I'm going to go into my CRM. So I'm in my CRM now. I see over here on the left, it was quick, but the street address, city, state, and postal code have now all updated because we've taken that input information and we have moved it right into the customer information there. We also, if we go to the deal level here, we can see that it's in a proposal sent stage now, but it just moved to a closed won stage, which we can see on the top and in the fields to the left. So some things, I mean, especially you're head of sales, Ali, like you want to make sure that all your numbers and everything in HubSpot for us, but in others are all up to date. So I think it's a great and easy way to do that. Now we're in our finance channel within Slack, and boom, there we go, right? New customer alert, van delay automations, deal value, and then there's our subscription URL right down there. Finance gives a little thumbs up. They've seen it. They can go right to the subscription URL. They can see all the information right here. Then they can request the payment method, or they can go ahead and start following that up to make sure they collect it. And now we're for the CS, our customer success, we're at the account management level on our channel. Boom, new customer, George Costanza. We can even put a little direction, follow link, record a video and send. So now we're the account managers in GetAccept. Here's this nice little handoff we put together. Welcome to GetAccept. All right, here's the next steps, onboarding. And this is why we maybe sometimes we'll draft it, because you can go then in there and maybe type some information for that initial send. We'll see that the information from the original signed contract, George Costanza, our recipients in there. We can record a quick video. I was wearing a different shirt the other day, but there you go.
Couldn't tell.
There's the nice little intro video saying, "Hey George, can't wait to get Vandelay up and running. Let me know if you have any questions. Reach out in the chat." And then you can go ahead, edit the email message if they want to, and they can go ahead and send this out. So within, I don't know, less than 3-4 minutes, whatever, how long this video is, we have automated 5 tasks, something that might take, honestly, maybe a day plus, to just the communication between sales to finance to account manager to the customer. Let's not forget. All that time going in between are things that obviously add time and can be added back to your ROI when you're looking at implementing these automations.
Yeah, you also, I mean, that was such a great thank you for prepping that video, Alan. That was such a great way to understand how the flow works. But of course, I mean, for those watching, we did, of course, it's a slower video to allow Alan to speak to the points, but typically the action takes anywhere between 2 to 5 seconds each. So each step that you saw there would take 2 to 5 seconds to actually happen, and they happen simultaneously. They'll all happen at the same time. So when a document is signed, the updates in the CRM, updating the deal, sending the update to finance, creating a subscription, updating the account management channel, all of this happens within the same kind of, like, I would say 5-10 seconds, all of this is done, just so you're aware of how the speed of this, right? So if you have
sped it up that quick, it might, it might be a real short video, but
but if you, I mean, if you have like if you have a large sales team, or if you have a sales team that's really busy, all this takes a lot of time. All this kind of opens up the door to a lot of user errors and different kind of missing data in your CRM, for example, or a subscription is not created, and it really does impact the entire customer experience. If the subscription is not set up properly, if you're not getting access to the platform immediately, then you're not a happy customer. If you don't understand what's the next step in your onboarding, or who is your customer success manager, then you're not a happy customer. I think the speed to answer to the customers or to new hires, or in any case, really, I think the automation allows you not to only be more efficient, reduce error, but also be quick to differentiate yourself from a lot of other competitors in this case, for example. So I do think that this is huge. I love that you cover the case of finance, and I love that you cover the case of the account management, because I do think that that's really, really important.
Yeah, and I think that speed, that time to respond is I think in any kind of position. We've seen it a lot, like in support softwares like Intercom and things like that, or like anything like when you go to a website, like, there's a reason why things pop up automatically, and it's because that's speed. You want answers quick, and you want things. Same thing when you're a new customer and you want the onboarding to get going, or you have a question about the contract or things. It's all connected, right? So automations kind of give you that step ahead, like you said, of your competitors.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Alan. I know that we are kind of around time. I know, Frederick, you've been busy in the channel. I see that you've been answering a lot of questions. Frederick, do you want to kind of jump in and kind of give us some highlights from the conversation you've been having in the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think there's been very good questions in the chat, and I think we've managed to answer all of them. One thing I can just end by saying to the audience is that if you have questions about how these different automations can help you, or how they would interact with your ecosystem and software environment you're using, reach out to your GetAccept closest contact so we can look at it together with you, because it's always case by case. It's always depending on what type of workflow you're looking for and so on. And like Alan said, we've been working with this for many years, so we know what works well and not. So make sure to reach out to us, and we'll give you some help.
Absolutely. Thank you, Frederick. I mean, we do really have, we have a dedicated team that really focus on automations. And if you're interested in not necessarily discussing a specific automation, but maybe brainstorming ideas of ways that we can help you do more with what you have, do more with less, I would say reach out. We'll be happy to discuss this with you. Our team is always open and available. But again, really, like Frederick said, reach out to your closest rep. If you are not sure who that person is, here's my email and Alan's email. Of course, feel free to reach out to us directly. And then, Alan, we have something going out to all registrants too as well, right?
So funny enough, we're going to use an automation to send out a digital sales room to everyone, digital room with the recording in here. We'll add the slides as well. Who knows, me and Ali might even put a little little note in there just to, yeah, so expect to see that within a day or two here. And yeah, I think as far as, I think someone did have a question about missing the beginning and everything. So no worries, we will send out that recording. You'll see it delivered to your inbox here in, like I said, a day or two, no worries.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Alan, for joining me today. And thank you all for joining us throughout the 35 or 40 minutes today. I hope that this was beneficial, and hopefully we'll speak to you guys individually very soon.
Yeah, thank you, Ali, and thank you,
All
Frederick, for your Q&A assistance. And I guess we'll talk to you guys all soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.